guess what? You have something inside of you that you don't know about. Many somethings, actually. You see, you, me, everybody, we've had unspeakable things just intentionally placed inside of us. It's called human imprinting, and it's going to control us until the day we die. Unless, Hi, I'm Rick, and there are very few things in life that I just truly hate. I mean, sure, maybe I get pissed more than I really should at real stupid drivers and politicians. They have a special place in the darkest portion of my heart where I just wish them all kinds of angst and misery. Oh, and don't even get me started on double-stuffed Oreos. I mean, just the ratio of crisp to creamy, it's just wrong. But anyway, aside from all of those triggers, there is one thing that I truly hate more than anything. And it's something that every single person on this planet has experienced. And one in which nobody can escape. And believe it or not, if you have kids of your own, you've already put it inside of them too, probably. And yeah, I know this sounds like so much clickbait and conspiracy theory, but believe me, it's not. It's really true. And before we get into this intrusion on our lives, I want to give you a story. I grew up in the 1960s in an all-white, blue-collar neighborhood. Racism wasn't so much taught as it just was a way of life. People dropped the N-word as well as casually as they would use the word dinner. Nobody knew why. It was just the way the world was. It was segregated. This is the world that I was raised in. Let's skip ahead to the year 2023. I am not the way I was raised. And yet, no matter how much I know to be true, no matter how much I hate bigoted idiots and bullies, and there's this little voice that's deep inside of my head that just constantly whispers, "Why are you so upset? This is the way life is. This is the way life has always been." So why do I have this little voice in the back of my head that just defies logic? Well, it's called human imprinting. The technical definition of imprinting is learning that occurs at a certain age regardless of the consequences of behavior. But what it really means, when you're a child, your brain is just gooey. It's unfused, just a bunch of random strands of unfinished wiring. Your entire being is just waiting for some electrician to come along and wire things up for you. Enter society, family and friends, your all-white neighborhood. And here's the thing, once that wiring is completed, once all the goo is fused, that learning is permanent. No force on earth is going to unlearn you what you just learned. And so decades later, when you're an old man and somebody tells you that the earth is flat, you're going to hark back to when Uncle Bob told you at the age of 4.5 that no, the earth is just a big blue and green flat piece of pizza floating around somewhere there might even be a turtle holding it up on its back. Because you see, that pre-wired notion, that crap that Uncle Bob stuck inside of your head, it's going to live on forever. So just remember that when you're talking to a flat earther. Somebody's Uncle Bob fed him a whole bunch of crap when he was... Thanks, Uncle Bob. Take a look at your screen. What do you see? It's right there in the middle. Do you see Santa Claus? I know that's what you're thinking because I constantly got that from everyone and I hated it. So why don't you just dye your hair then? Because men don't dye their hair. And yes, I know that what we're going to talk about just pales in comparison to racism, but when I was raised, there were some very strict rules of what it was like, what it took to be a man. Men, you see, don't alter their appearance, for there is but one standard for a man, and it applies to everybody. You see, this is also what I was taught in the 1960s. Men wear their hair short, parted on the side. We also use Vitalis for that oily yet firm look. We are clean shaven, and we always carry a white, clean handkerchief in our right rear pocket. And we never dye our hair. Ever. And these were the rules for being a man. These were the rules that were imprinted on, well, Rick's little gooey brain. Thank you, 1960s. Oh, and if a man ever dared to actually color his hair, oh, the ridicule that would entail. Everybody, and I mean everybody, would comment behind his back. Oh, hey, you see that guy over there? He dyes his hair. Looks like shoe polish, don't it? And in fact, here's a recent example. Just a week ago, I was talking to two friends of mine, and we were somehow talking about my beard, and one of them looked at me and went, "Dude, Don't dye your beard. You don't want to be that guy that dyes your beard. Now, I know that a lot of you weren't raised in the same decade as I was, so this whole concept of what it takes to be a man just might seem a little strange, but it is what I was taught. It is what was imprinted on me and apparently my friends back in the decade that was. You see, there were rules, and when the rules were broken, you were encouraged to ridicule, chastise, critique that person right back into, well, following the rules. But we were talking about hair color, and you know, well, I am sorry to report, but I killed Santa Claus. Sorry, kids. I just couldn't take it anymore. The white, the gray, it wasn't who I was inside. So I went to this random beauty parlor in Dallas, and well, this happened. You know what? You want to know how I feel now? I feel like I did something wrong. Now, yeah, personally, I look a whole lot more on the outside like I feel on the inside, but still, that stupid nagging voice in there just keeps telling me. Having a midlife crisis, are we? You gonna trade in the wife for a younger model? You know that everybody's pointing at you and saying the same thing. Hey, look at that guy over there. He dyes his hair. He's not much of a man. So, can you unlearn what you've learned? Let's ask the internet and find out the answer to that. Apparently, human imprinting is irreversible. Imprinted knowledge is retained for life, and of all forms of learning, imprinting is the least likely to be forgotten or unlearned. Well, that sucks. I don't seem to have an end to this story. There doesn't seem to be a scientific way to erase human imprinting. So let's try to figure out something else that works. Something that explains why we judge, why we do the things that we do. Something that might actually be able to make those thoughts run silent. Okay, here's my idea. How about we just stop hiding? How about we just admit what was imprinted on us? Acknowledge the fact that all of this stuff that was put into us without our permission, it's not who we are. They're just scars. And scars don't define us. I was raised in an extremely racist world where people who looked like me dominated. A world where all women needed to be protected and taken care of because they couldn't take care of themselves. Where men had very strict rules about our behavior. And male ridicule and judgment was a powerful enforcement tool. I have those scars and many more inside of me. And I have been oh so careful not to let anybody know about it, lest you think that I'm a racist, woman-hating, domineering, you know the type of guy. Well, I do have these permanent scars inside of me. I do have little voices just whispering nonsense in my head that I can't shut up, but they are not me. They are not the definition of who I am. And frankly, I'm no longer going to be ashamed of them because they do not define who I am. Only I get to decide that. And so, I'm sorry, Santa, but I know you're kind to the kids and the elves and all, but I ain't you. Not at least as far as the beard goes. In 1960s, I'm not you either. I'm who I want to be. Thanks for watching. Okay, real quick before you go, no, don't click away yet. I have some news for you. If you haven't yet, look down in the description. We have a newsletter. Yeah, I know I'm going to collect your email address and use it for nefarious reasons, but seriously, it comes out once a week and it's got lots of good information. Information that you can use, I can use, everybody can use, and a little bit of, well, poking fun at myself. So please go down, click, sign up, and, well, let's try to get through this thing called life together.